morning, everybody. So AEP is just this coming Saturday, and it's already Thursday. And I hope everybody has kind of figured out their game plan as far as which plans look good, which plans are kind of like gonna be your, oh yeah, this plan. If you're interested in dental, this plan will work for. Oh, you have like surgery coming up, you're gonna need a lot of PT. This plan will save you money, because if you can objectively kind of identify where things kind of fall, then your kind of course of action becomes much more relevant to the person that you're speaking to. Now, for me, I always like to talk about those types of things because, example here is physical therapy. Usually people need to go physical therapy way more than they would go to see their doctor. So if they're comparing like a $5 versus a $0 copay to go to the doctor office, that should have far less weight than something like physical therapy if they know they're going to have surgery, or they know that they have some aches and pains that they want to deal with. Because I've seen some plans differ in physical therapy treatment, in like $15 difference, one plan being 25 versus another being 40. So you multiply that by 20, if they're the same zero premium plan, then you've got yourself a $300 difference between the costs, right? And a lot of physical therapists will bill for the entire 6-session chunk all at once. So 6 times 25 versus 6 times 40 is a huge amount of money difference, right? When they look at it like that, they're like, wow, like this is more than a hospital stay with my plan. So you have to kind of put those things into their focus. And even if they're not going to have physical therapy, they need to know that these costs are going to be high. They're going to be higher now than what you would normally be accustomed to. So if we can't predict our medical future, if they do have physical therapy, they are prepared for a larger bill. And they're doing that because they want something that this other plan has, or is going to protect them in a different aspect of medical, which they value, or they think that will be more relevant to them versus relevant to physical therapy, right? Just like how I say, I identify the things that will cost the most based on the utilization of the person sitting in front of me. And I know how certain things are billed, right? Physical therapy is billed in like 6-session chunks, and you can get a lot of physical therapy, right, if you need it. So those things will add up. It'll cost a lot, and that's not something that many people think about. It's good to bring to their attention. The next kind of game plan that I like to think of are those outliers. Is there a new company in your area that is potentially trying to disrupt the market, shake all those people who are not hanging on so tightly to their plan, and entice them with something better? And a lot of these plans will entice things with like healthy food reward cards, or a much more robust dental plan. And if that's something that you want to address, then you can address it. And also, just because you might sell the plan, or maybe you don't sell the plan, you need to point out, if you can, the differences between how one plan works versus the other. Now, most times, if you are not representing the plan, you can't speak ill of it, but you can speak uncertainty to it. What does that look like? It looks like, if they say, hey, how does this plan work? They got dental. You say, well, I'm not really sure how their plan work, but in my experience, dental insurance, you gotta kind of read the finer details, because dental insurance works in a multitude of ways. There's like a copay, a co-insurance. There's only certain services that are covered. Some services have annual limitations, like you can only have 1 or 2 of them done per year. Sometimes have like a maximum benefit, it's not a max out of pocket. So if like the plan covers up to $1,000, then you have $1,000 to use. Each individual plan is gonna treat that $1,000 differently. Some plans have $1,000 credit that you have. Some plans have a cost share agreement that you have to abide by. It's not about the plan. Well, it is about the plan. It's not that this company has a dental plan and it's $1,000 and that's great. It's how does this company deal with the dental plan? And I cannot speak to that dental plan because I don't know. But what I can tell you is what the dental plans that I have that are attached to the Medicare Advantage plans that I represent, how they work. And that'll instill much more confidence. You still don't know if the other company is gonna be better than the one you have to offer, but you can provide a level of certainty versus on the other side, if it's a plan you do not represent, you can just let them know that it is uncertain, and then they themselves can go and research it, for that part. And for most people, if you are a valuable Medicare agent, they will not go there just for the dental. If they value you for what you do for them, then they know that you are probably representing the best plan for them. That's just the way it works. And a lot of times these newer benefits or newer companies, they're not as strong as the solid ones that have been there for a long time. And that can be very frightening for people. So use that to your advantage. If you have a company that you represent that's a strong company that's been there for a long time, and if they have apprehensions of changing into a newer company, tell them, yes, this company is newer. And even for if you represent them, tell them this company is newer, right? My whole thing is there is no perfect answer. It is whatever the client you're talking to needs. And they need to be able to make a decision based on what you tell them and how your advice or your recommendation pans out for their circumstance. No plan that passed through CMS is going to be that bad, right? It's not going to be that bad. So long as they understand the entire construct of the plan, then they'll be okay, right? If it's an HMO, listen to the HMO guidelines. Each HMO, each medical insurance company has to follow the same rules and regulations, so you understand pretty much the due process that these plans have to go through, and you'll be okay as far as the member goes, right? And if you don't know, then learn. Everyone who has medical insurance shouldn't know what to do when something gets denied, when the bills come to you and their insurance company says we don't pay for these things. You have to kind of figure that part out. But that's with every single insurance company that has a contract with the federal government, which is any private insurance company, Medicare Advantage, Medicare Part D, etc. They all have due process, and that due process is spelled out on the website and in their evidence of coverage and in the full policy if they ever want it. So it's not that difficult, but you have to be able to articulate that in a way that the client can understand and make decisions from. Alright, so pre-AEP, really close in like 3 days. I'm not going to be working on Saturday. I told you guys I don't work on the weekends, but it is here, and I'm excited. Hope you're excited. Have a great rest of your day. Do good things, and I'll see you in the next video.